Wanda, happy Black Love Thursday to you, Queen. Brother Amarki, happy Black Love Thursday to you. Sister Tanya Neal Sturgis, happy Black Love to you, Queen. My brother Tommy Hayes, who has a beautiful magazine. He's also an admin on our post. Happy Black Love to you, Soldier. My cousin Rashawn Floyd, happy Black Love Thursday to you. Nard Moss, happy Black Love Thursday to you. Good evening, family. Good evening, family. Good evening, family. Welcome to another broadcast of R. When I say R, I include you all as well. R, Black Love Thursdays. For those who may be new to our program, it's a program that is dedicated to uplifting the opposite sex. So the Queen take the time to post, say something about the black man as well as it relates to encouraging words, what she thinks about him in a very positive way, how she feels about him being a father, the father dynamic, encouraging her young sons, nephews. The King takes his time today and dedicate it to uplifting the Queen. So happy Black Love Thursdays. Michelle O'Neill, how are you doing? Happy Black Love Thursdays. Please, family, before we get into the crux of our program, I'm going to constantly keep saying it, our program, this is your program. You should be inviting people, sharing and inviting, and letting your people know that you're on. Because just because you see our face, you hear our voices, your comments, your questions are most valued. The things that we may miss, you may add in commentary. You might ask a profound question that we may overlook, but someone in the community sees it and answer it in there. The purpose of this is to keep the dialogue process going, where we're bringing issues that we face in our community and we're coming up with solutions. We don't have to go externally. The solutions to our issues is within us. And the dialogue process helps us to understand and appreciate that. How often are we amongst one another and we're not having a healthy conversation, but not knowing once that person starts speaking and you say, wow, I didn't know that was in you. Wow. So this is the purpose of Black Love Thursdays, the uplifting of our one another, the genders. But the most important part is to strengthen the love in the family dynamic. So for those who may be new to our show and they ask the question, well, why do we call it Black Love Thursdays? Well, every other ethnic group has a sense of unity and a sense of love and a sense of pride for themselves. And we clap, we give them the accolades. However, we need to strengthen ours. We need to show unity amongst us, and we are so accustomed of loving everybody else but ourselves. We want to take this time to focus strictly and specifically on ourselves, the black man, the black woman, the black family. The reason why love is so emphasized, because at the end of the day, no matter what we join on to, if love is not the reason why we join into a institution, church, religious entity, once whatever we came in for, whether it be disappointment, anger, loneliness, once it's subsided, we're quickly out. But if it's rooted in love, if it's absolutely rooted in love, now you give the real opportunity for longevity. So we focus on love. So, and we're unapologetically black. So unapologetically black doesn't mean that we're anti anyone else. Like I say every Thursday, if there happens to be a White Love Wednesdays, we'll salute them, probably watch, and probably take a couple nuggets from that. If there happens to be a Mexican Love Mondays, We'll probably watch that and take a couple nuggets for that. But this is the particular group that we belong to, and we should not be ashamed to love ourselves and love kind. And we're not doing it in spite of others. So take the time, share, invite, share, invite. After you do that, your comments are welcome and desired because it's our program. It's our program, family. So with that being said, today I'm going to kind of lay the platform before I introduce my co-host who's been knocking them out, who's been doing a great job of knocking them out and in getting involved. Getting involved on a very, 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 how can I put it, practical level. And he's there. Everyone is not there. He's there when he's out in the street. He's doing his thing by joining the political process and running for office. He's doing his thing by visiting businesses and asking them how are they lending or being beneficial to our communities. Are they being respectful to our communities when they come in and do business in our communities? And all these things start with communication. He needs soldiers with boots on the ground with him. However, everybody's not there yet. So we start with the basic training. It's open communications and dialogue. So today, let me set the platform up for you all, family, so you understand maybe sometimes when I word things, maybe it can lead to misinterpretation. I'm not the grammar police. I'm not I don't have a master command of the English language, so I could confuse you all with my title and my wording. Remember, for those who are 40 and over, even 35 and older, you remember a time whereas when we were hungry, we weren't hungry. When we thought we were poor, we weren't poor. And the reason why we weren't these things, even though it would appear that these things, is because we had a richness in community. If one of our community members, who we affectionately call auntie, who was no blood relations, uncle, who was no blood relations, if your mother didn't have anything to cook for you, someone in the community would feed you. If you was outdoors, somebody in the community would shelter you. If you was late on your rent, they would throw rent parties within the community to help you get your rent. This was the concept that it took a village to raise a child. Before there was child care initiatives and daycares, the ones that was not working were the babysitters. And you threw them whatever you had to give them, and whatever was given was appreciated. But it was community. It strengthened, and we live by the principle, it takes a village to raise a child. So that's what we're talking about today. The question in that, or what we're questioning that, what are some of the pros, what are some of the cons, and does that concept still exist, or is it just an empty mantra nowadays? So this is what our co-host is going to delve off into and asking our beautiful panelists, one from the beautiful state of Michigan, Detroit, Michigan, and our brother from Houston, Texas. So we want to thank them for coming on. But before they come on, start thinking about the topic, start lending us your knowledge, your wisdom, and your questions about the topic. So without further ado, I'm going to ask you all, and I'm not going to introduce my co-host. I'm going to stall until I start seeing some likes and some hearts on this particular questions. Have you taken the time out to share and invite on this video? Don't worry, I'll wait. Don't worry. Show me some likes, show me some hearts so we can go further on with the program. Have you taken the time to share and invite? Share and invite. There you go. About 6 people. We got more than 6 people on. Remember, family, it takes a community, it takes a village. That's the stuff y'all almost had me cussing in front of this minister. That's the stuff I'm talking about. Happy Black Love Thursday, family. Happy Black Love Thursday. You people are getting excited. We about to get this thing cracking. The champ is here. The champ is here, hailing all the way from North Carolina, just outside of Raleigh, Carolina. This brother is the reason why they made the comic Black Panther. He's the original Black Panther. He is raw. He is from the comedic community. Our brother coming all the way from North Carolina. Knock him out, champ. Come on, brother DeAndre Raw. How you doing this fine Black Love Thursday?
Hey, man, I'm doing great, man. I'm trying to be serious here, but you got me down laughing. Yeah, man. I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad that we came back. I'm glad that everybody's in a good mood because, you know, with this particular topic, we need to be talked about. And we want people to share because there's going to be some great information out there, and we want people to get in. Ask the questions so we can get it on now. So, you know, everybody know who I am, but don't nobody come to see me. They came to see the guests. And that's why I'm finna go ahead and introduce the guests. We all know Black Gun. Black Gun is no guest on this program right here. That's this guy. You know, I want y'all to go to his page, man, and actually listen to some of the stuff the brother got to say. I love this brother. He's real intelligent and he's real Southern with it. So you get that Southern swag, but you also get somebody who actually got something to say. But he don't want to preach to the same people over and over and over. He trying to change lives. And that's what inspired me to keep going. Brothers like him, when I watch him with the knowledge and I watch him, you know, think as he talking and he's real passionate about it, it just lights a fire into me. It's nothing about a competition. It's just I feed off his energy and hopefully the brother's feeding off mine. The next guest is Sister Nicole. She's new to the Black Love. Welcome, sister. We're glad to have you. She's a mother of 3, a minister, a teacher. She owns 2 businesses. She's on the First Strategic Image Consulting, LLC. She provides personal development training for inner healing and changing the bad mindset. So that's interesting. She teach financial literacy to adults and children. And that's something that's very needed in our community because there's no age limit on learning. You start learning straight out of the womb. So there's no particular time for anybody to start learning about any subject. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and dig right into it. Black Gun, I'm gonna give it to the sister first, being that she's first on here. Sister Nicole, how you doing this evening? Oh, you can't hear
I'm
you,
good.
sister.
How are you? How are you?
I'm doing
Good.
great. I just did a little bit of your bio, but I know you can explain it way better than me. But I want you to explain your bio and what you do. And after that, I want you to answer this question rather. You know, it's on the topic about the village part. I wanna know as a woman and as a single, you know, being married and being divorced, how difficult is it when you don't have the village there and it's just you and you trying to, you know, take your 3 onto the right path, you know? So just introduce to the people who you are, what you represent, and can you follow up with the answer to that question?
Yes. So, hey, everybody. I am Nicole Blackmon. How you doing this evening? So, yes, I am a minister. I have 3 beautiful daughters. I know they say that, you know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. However, my babies are beautiful. Anyway, I own a business, a strategic image consulting, and I do provide personal development, leadership, and public speaking training to students and to adults. I currently train in Detroit Public Schools as well as Farmington Public Schools, and I enjoy helping individuals to work on their inner self, to help them to just be better individuals in the community and in society overall. So that's something that I know that I'm good at, as far as inspiring, encouraging, and promoting individuals to be their best and catapulting them to the next level in their life. As far as the financial literacy program, I mean, we money is money. We all like money. We all need money. We have to have it to do the things that we, to live. Anyway, so I am teaching that program also. Anyway, so in regards to the question, how difficult is it or was it to raise my three daughters, being a single mother? I'm not sure. I can't say that it was really that hard for me or that difficult. And I say that because when my daughters were younger, I chose to make decisions that I knew was going to help them in their future. Okay, so whatever it was that I did not want them to be exposed to in the home, I did not do. So for me, it wasn't that challenging. I know I had someone ask me a few months ago, how did you keep your daughters from being ghetto? And I thought that was it was funny to me. I was like, how did I keep them from being ghetto? Anyway, so I told them, I said, well, wow. I said, well, I was not raised ghetto. My mother, she raised me and my siblings in diverse atmospheres. She did not want us to just attend strictly Black schools. So she made a way, she provided for us to be able to transition to the suburban area, which of course we know there's many different cultures. And then not only that, but she allowed us to participate in various activities that had many diverse of children in it, so we were always around diversity. My mother made sure that we read the dictionary, we looked up things on the encyclopedia, she always made sure that we spoke correctly, we enunciated each word, because her thing is, okay, well, when you get out there in the real world, if you don't have the proper manners, and if you cannot present yourself in a positive way, then people are not going to want to deal with you. And so because of her teaching me that, I made sure that I passed that on to my daughters, because I realized that it was something that was extremely important. So for me,
absolutely. Okay, absolutely. That was beautiful, man. And to that person who said the ghetto thing, tell them the ghetto is a way of thinking, not a way of living. So that's their ghetto. Okay. So Black Gun, brother, how you feeling today, man?
I'm doing fine, brother.
Hey man, I'm glad that matter of fact, people, I wanna give credit where credit due. Black Gun is the pioneer for this particular topic, and that's why we say we need each other, because he's seen an issue and he feel like that we need to discuss it. And brother, I want to appreciate you for that, because our children are the future. Our children are the foundation of everything. So this is a topic that need to be talked about, and need to be talked about by people who passionate enough to get on here and say, okay, look, this is what I think. So I want you to answer this question for me, Black Gun. Being that you live the type of lifestyle like some of us have lived before, how do we not make that type of lifestyle that our sons and daughters see, lavish? How we try to deter them from that type of lifestyle?
Well, I first with my children, I try to lead by example. I try to show them my past. Dad is not perfect, but dad is living life. My past, my children don't really know. They only know about it when I'm around family and, get to reminiscing and things of that nature. But it's certain things I don't tell them because they're not at the age to understand actually why I was doing it, what I was going through at that time. So I try to raise them in the light that I live now. You know, hard worker daddy. You know, I try to tell my son that there was a time when I couldn't read blueprints on a job, so I had to learn how to do it. To show him the points of education. If you want something like, you got to go out there and grab it, but you got to learn. So I'm always on him about school. That's about the most thing I'm on him about. You know, he speaks proper. You know, you see my children, you think that their dad is white and their mom is black. You know, by the way they talk and act. I want them to speak proper language, speak proper. You know, so when you see my kids, they're not using the word nigga. You get what I'm saying? When they hear that word, they frown up. We don't say that in my house because my daddy don't like that, you know. And I want that to be the example. I try to push the example on them so they can push it off on the people that are around so they can see my works through my children. You know, because I lived a rough life, but my children don't have to live a rough life. You know, I'm in a position now to where even though I've been to prison, even though I've done the things I've done, you know, my path has changed. There was a time when it was just me and my son. So I thought that I can raise my son in a certain way. You know, I tried to keep it gangster with my son, should I say. Raise him up to be tough when he around me and by me. But I had to find out the hard way because he started taking on those actions, you know what I'm saying? Sticking with his chest stuck out and, you know, saying certain things. And I had to check myself. It wasn't his fault. It was my fault. So I always got to remember that anything that falls my children during their lifetime now, while not at the age of understanding, is my fault. So I got to groom them properly. You know, and that's the key to it. When you groom your kids, get them discipline and give them an example to follow, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna be your blessing because your children are no more than your DNA. And you gotta activate your goodness in them. You know, a lot of people fail to look over that. That's your DNA, literally, your blood walking the earth that formed in a woman's womb, came to life. You know, life was breathed into that heals everything that you're saying for that whole 9 months. So it get used to your voice, know who daddy is. I was there for all three of my kids' birth, and I was the first person that they saw. So, you know, I take that into light. You know, I say I want to be there from the womb to the tomb because I know I'm not going to be here forever. So I want to give them something to follow. So my body of work is there and everything that I do, you know, even with family. You know, I know it says it take a village, but I feel like the village is broken, so I got to work overtime. And that's what a lot of people fail to realize. There are villages out there, but a lot of them are broken because of ideologies and people going to drug use or people just living their life because their kids grown and feel like, well, I ain't raising no more kids, you know. I ain't got nothing to do with that. So, you know, I feel like I got to work overtime because it's my responsibility. It's not my mama's. It's not my daddy's. It's not my sister's. It's not my brother's, aunts, or uncles. Would I want them to be there? Yes. But if they're not there or not, my job is going to be complete whether you're there for me or not.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. That was beautiful. And I like the fact that you say, hey, we got to take responsibility. You absolutely right. We have to take responsibility and know when we're doing wrong, recognize what we're doing and correct it. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure we going the right way. And sister, what Black Gun just mentioned, I want to ask you a question. Now, being that we live in this hustle and bustle, you know, type of capitalist society, are we too busy chasing the dollar? Are we too busy worrying about taking care of business at home that we're forgetting to raise our kids? Are we putting them in front of the TV? Are we putting them in front of the computer and letting that be the babysitter? Are we too caught up in our own world, you know, making money that we just dismiss raising our children the proper way?
I would say that it depends. You know, for myself, I had my oldest daughter when I was a senior in high school. Okay, and to not finish high school, to not graduate, was not something that was, you know, even in my thoughts. You know, I graduated like I was supposed to, and I kind of had the look like, who would not do that? But that was not something that I was taught to just give up. You know. Anyway, and so then, of course, you know, from there, I started working because, you know, my mother told me, she said, well, Nicole, you know, you can't get on public assistance. So you either going to go to school, go to college, or you're going to go to work. And I chose to go to work because, you know, at that point, I'm a provider. I'm 17 years old. I have a child. So I have to do what I need to do. So I have to work. Anyway, I said all that to say that eventually I did go to college. But at some point, I realized that I had to stop. And the reason being was because my daughter, I wanted to make sure that
she had an opportunity to do whatever it was that needed to be done. So whether that's me raising her and not having her to be raised by somebody else. So what I did was I put me going back to school on the back burner. And, even after having her get married, having children and all that, because I remember when my youngest daughter, she probably was about 6 years old, and I had started taking evening classes. And I remember her calling me one day, and she said, "Mommy, you're never home," because I would go to work, and then I would pick them up from school, and then I would take them home, and then I would leave, and I would go to college, go to school. And, by her calling me, telling me that, I was like, you know what? When you have the opportunity to do it when you only had one child years ago, that opportunity has not presented itself again. So what you need to do is you need to realize that, your children are important, okay? And so whatever dreams and goals that you have, you'll be able to accomplish them, but you have to wait until your children become of age. And so this way you're not allowing the TV to raise them. You're not allowing, social media to raise them. You are actually physically in the house to raise your children the way that you want for them to be raised, as opposed to having someone else or, them being programmed, as we know, TV and, music and all that stuff is being programmed. So I'm the one who's programming them, so.
Absolutely. Sometimes we have to put our priorities in order, man. I know that we love money. We love money just as well as our enemy love money. So sometimes we have to, we have to just get a reality check sometimes that sometimes money is not everything. I mean, it really is. I mean, it makes things comfortable, but raising your kids the proper way is more important than any dollar that I ever, came across. Brother Black Gun, I want to ask you something, brother, because I know you're real passionate about the community. I want to know, as parents, what can we do? And this question actually comes from Lakeisha Muhammad. She's part of the Black Love Family Group. We want to know, and me as well, we want to know, as parents, what can we do to get our, to better our community so we can raise our children in a proper community. That way we don't have to go outside of our community to raise our children.
It starts with communication among parents, understanding what you believe, first of all, so you can get past that. Because a lot of people these days are stuck about what somebody believes or how they live their life. You see, that's true how somebody live their life. You got to be careful of that, because you don't want that influence around your kids out somebody else in their household, because every household is run different. Like me with my kids, I let my kids run around and tear up the house till they get tired. When they go to sleep, I clean up. When you take them to somebody else's house, they might knock over something and they might trip. So I need somebody, a parent that's like me, or parents that's like me, that if we go and the kids and have fun, they'll be like, "Oh, baby, don't worry about that." That's how my grandmother used to do. When the grandkids come to the house, she'd be like, "Oh, baby, that's just a glass. That's just a glass. You can buy another glass. That baby, the baby is yours for life." My grandmother's not here. My grandfather's not here. So, I got to take everything that they give me and apply it, because, there was a time where raising me was the key focus to everybody, making sure I survived, because it was like they saw the potential. They saw what I had, but I didn't see it, And when you got those type of people around that see the potential within your children, they're going to help bring that potential out. If you don't have them type of people around, it is not going to work. I can't take my kid. Like, I love my sister to death. My sister, while I was in prison, learned a new lifestyle. She raised her kids another way. They use words that I don't use in my home. So, it's like an unbalanced there in a sense, but the love is there. But I know that I can interact with them, but it's just certain things that I can't allow my kids to be involved just because the way she raised her church. It's no knock against her. I love her, but when you look at the vision and everything as a whole, you got to be aware of everybody and the surroundings that go with it, because your kids will be involved. And it can become dangerous, because their kids' attitude might reflect on your kids, And they might catch that attitude that their kid have, or be like, "Well, my mama let me do this." And my kids 10 in a minute be like, my daddy don't do this or that, They might be like, "Well, just do it anyway." You got to be aware of all that influence of the parents and the children. When you build that communication, you can build that bridge up in the community, because now you got parents outside that you can put your kids outside and be like, hey, call on the phone, you know, my baby's outside. Oh, don't worry about it. I'm looking out the window right now. I see such and such. You know, you don't have that no more. You know, it's basically people will see your kids and then they walk on by, you know, in the black community. And we all trying to survive and struggle to make it better for each other. But that's not the case. So, you know, like I put an example, like if I was a community where you was, Brother Roy, Michael Neal, like I wouldn't have, like I wouldn't have no problem with saying, hey, y'all go over to Brother Raw house, you know, or go over there with Brother Michael Neal is. Get what I'm saying? Because them brothers, I know that I can trust them and what they gonna teach or the discipline they may bring. You know, you got to have them type of people, brothers or sisters. You know, with women, and you got daughters, you have to be aware of how they dress, how they speak. Men with sons, you got to be aware of that as well.
Hey man, I like how you put that, because you're absolutely right. Sometimes your family members are not, even though we love them, we cherish them. Sometimes their values is not as equal or is not, you know, up to par. So we have to kind of distance ourselves because we don't want our children to pick up any bad habits. I mean, it's like you said, we're not talking junk about our people. We love them, but our parenting skills are totally different. And sister, I want to ask you this. Well, this is kind of like a two-part question. You said your mother took y'all out to the suburbs, and y'all was around different, you know, nationalities. My first question is, does that actually help shape you and maybe your children now that's seeing other things, or being amongst their people, or being amongst just black people, seeing how they was in a proper neighborhood? Would you prefer that, or would you prefer your children to be in a diverse neighborhood? And my second question is, how many neighborhoods do we have? I mean, how many neighborhoods have you been involved in where you are actually trusting in the neighborhood, where you can see somebody out there disciplining your child and you wouldn't say nothing?
So, the first question, as far as being, you know, in diverse or in the suburbs or whatnot, I made a choice to move my children to the suburbs because of the culture that I saw being in Detroit. I did not want my children to be exposed or have to deal with the things that I saw that were coming about. You know, I didn't want them to think that it was going to be unsafe for them if they had to walk to and from school, you know, and have to deal with different perpetrators that would be out there on the street, you know. And not to say that it can't happen out in the suburbs, because it does, you know, it happens anywhere. But I felt more comfortable making that choice because of my own experience that I had. And because I wanted my children to have a balance. You know, I didn't want them to, like, I mean, just being real, like I teach students in DPS schools, and I'm not saying that all children are the same, or all, you know, urban communities are the same. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just speaking based on my own personal experience. And I go into these schools now and I'm like, oh my gosh, like what has happened? You know, where are the parents? You know, why are these children, they're cussing all the time? You know, I asked one young lady, I said, why do you all cuss so much? And she said, Ms. Blackman, it's just a part of our vocabulary. And I'm like, but why? You know, so, I mean, these students, or most of the students, you know, they're hearing different things at home. Then they're listening to the music that's playing now. Now, I'm not saying that my children don't listen to the music, you know what I'm saying? Because of course, you know, how they are around me does not always mean that when they're around their friends, they're not acting the same as if they are around me. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just a given. But I did not want my children to be exposed to that, you know, and I wanted them to have an opportunity to see
to see different mannerisms, to see different cultures, and to be exposed to those things, because not everyone has. I have students they've never been out of their community. They've not even been out of the state of Michigan. They've not even been out of the city of Detroit. And because our world is so broad and so vast, I wanted to expose my children to those things. So that's why I made that choice. And as far as the neighborhoods, again, I teach in the neighborhoods in which I grew up in, So my thing was not, okay, well, suburbs, and then just, okay, well, I made it out here and I'm not going to give back to my community. No. I did that purposely for personal reasons for my own family. But I do go back into the schools, and I'm always, talking how better they can be. I even teach parent workshops, to talk to the parents about how they should, talk to their children and, what they should and should not do and things of that nature. And again, they're probably like, who are you? But I've learned that there are different strategies that we can use with raising our children that will give us a better effect, as opposed to just doing what we've always been taught, from when we grew up in that. So
that was beautiful, sister. I like how you explained that. That's another way how to actually look at it. So I hope everybody took that, the right way, because we all experience life differently, and we all have different experiences that shapes our opinion on things. So, I hope, everybody understand where you was coming from. Black Gun, brother, I got a 2-part question for you as well. My first question is, how important is it for you to teach your children about Black history, about our history? And the second part of my question is, how important is it for you to know your children's friends' parents? Like, how important is that? Do you have to know them personally for your children to deal with them? And, that's the second part. And my first question is, how important is it for you to teach your children the history of our people?
Well, when it comes to teaching about history, I try to teach them a little bit at a time. But when I show it to them, I don't show them the soft side. I don't show them the protest marching. I show them the violent side of history. I show them the lynchings. I show them the hangings, the shootings, the decapitation. I want them to know that our history and what our people went through was not something that just spoke up about this when they hear it in school that blacks don't like whites. It was a little bit deeper than that when I show it to them so they can understand it. And then I try to teach them what I know a little at a time, because the information that I have could program them in the wrong way when they're trying to grow up and be kids right now. My passion is my passion, but I can't allow it to be over passionate for my kids, and they still haven't even realized the side that they're living in. And that could be kind of hard when you're trying to deal with the things that's going on, protect them, and also protect yourself and deal with yourself and balance yourself. So, the history part of it, I try to take a little bit at a time, because I feel like it deals with age and comprehension. Because I want my children, especially my sons and my daughters, to literally understand what I'm saying. So in a totality of it, not just taking it be like, here go another one of daddy's speeches, because I'm always giving them with my kids. Like I can just get in a moment to where I be like, y'all come in, it just flows out, And then when it comes to other people and teaching my kids, it's all about what they teaching. Because I don't mind them learning, because that's how I learn. I'm an observer. I can pretty much learn anything just by looking and break it down. I'm real observant about it. And I want them to be like that, but observe the people and their actions and what they teaching them. When it comes to religion, and our whole soul, my heart, she believes in Christianity. I follow the path of Islam. Islam is a way of life. A lot of people call it religion. It's not a religion. Never was based form as a religion. It's a way of life that teaches you and molds you up. These were inspiration that was sent to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, to guide him and his people at a time, just like our ancestors. When you look at the history, all our ancestors that wrote down things, there was some scribe among them that wrote something down that happened in history so that the generation after them can have it. When you travel to Africa, places like Timbuktu, places where they're the central home of our history and our knowledge, there are people there that are elders that have been there, or people that can pass it on to their children so we can have it. And, you know, I look at that. If a person can't pass on something that's going to help my children, then I keep my kids from around. If you can't help me, I don't want you around. You know, being in prison taught me that friends really don't mean nothing, you know. So I can deal with people from a distance and it don't bother me. And I teach my kids that same principle. I teach them that not everybody is your friend. Understand, friends are allied in the same cause, struggle, and belief. They are not just friends for moments. They are not just friends for time. If you can't be friends with somebody that's willing to be your friend when you up and down, help you in your struggles, that's not your friend. You know, a lot of people are your friends because they benefit every time to stand next to you. And just like you've been in your town in North Carolina. Like, I want to go hang with Brother Rock. But then what is their intentions? Especially if you got kids, okay, you hanging around me, you want to be around my daddy. And kids, I'll notice that. Like, kids can read people. You know, this is something I wonder sometimes. Like, growing up, we all, as children, we all had that sixth sense. So where we can sense and see things. What causes us to lose it? Is it the way we live? Is it taking on the alcohol or the life we live? Or is the food? Whatever it is, it's taking us the way. But I noticed that kids, when they're young, they have that sense. They can tell if somebody bad or not. You know, you can bring your kids in a room like a baby, for instance. You take a baby and try to put it in somebody's arms that's not living a proper life, that baby ain't going to him. That baby will cry, that baby will kick, that baby will scream. You know, and I see that with my kids around people. That lets me know exactly what I'm dealing with, you know, especially with them. Like, I don't allow my kids to go to anybody's house either, you know, because people with that take a village thing, they want to try to beat your kids into understanding, like, I'm going to teach your child to listen. Send them to me. I'm going to teach them. I don't believe in that because I don't believe on everybody hitting on my child. I don't sit and abuse my children like that. Every now and then they get a whooping, you know, but mostly I use my voice. I let my voice be the scary carry because it packs more weight. My words pack more weight than a belt. That belt ain't going to do nothing but hit them a couple of times. They're going to cry, they're going to stop, and they're going to go on doing what they're doing. But if I can give my words in a strong sense out of love, they'll understand better. So when I apply history and what I'm teaching them and what everybody else is teaching, I got to be mindful, especially knowing the information that I know. And being studied as I am, you know, I can tell when my beliefs, people are trying to overtalk my beliefs with my kids. You know, they be like, well, baby, you know, Jesus love you. You know, yeah, I be hearing the whispers, but I sit there and when I get home, I break my kids off. They be like, you know, Allah, we don't know who Allah. All it means is the God. If you want to break it down from the 5%, it means arm, leg, arm, head. Dealing with man as God, the body. When you look at Islam, I, self, and master. Islam. You know, it can go deep into the teachings when you're teaching your kids. So I got so many that I can, even when dealing with the people out there with the fruit of Islam, the nation of Islam, like, I didn't just take the time to study with one person. I want to know what everybody was believing because I want to be able to sit at the table with somebody and have a conversation that was intelligent without having a bias toward that person for what they think. And I teach my kids that same principle.
Man, I love that, man. Because that's what we need. We need people with open minds and real diversity. Because to understand a person, you really have to see their world. You have to see the world how they see it. And by you studying all those type of ideologies, it really broadens your scope where you can have a conversation with different people. So, yeah, brother, a lot of people don't have that. A lot of people don't have that type of open mind. Sister, and it seemed like y'all talking, and the question that I want to ask you that lead me right to you, and I like that because it make my job more easier. So I got another 2-part question. You know, I got a question from our people. You know, Brother Sean Lewis, he said, and I like this question. He said, do you feel like sometimes while you move into the suburbs that your children miss out on the Black experience, unjudgmental love from their peers? And that's a question that I was pondering too, because it's like, okay, every other group of people, they don't aspire to go to these type of neighborhoods that have different people, especially us. They don't, it's like they don't try to move where we're at. Even if we live in the suburbs, they don't try to go. And even with the history of it, when we do move to those type of neighborhoods, the property value goes down. So are we depriving our children from the whole Black experience when we take them out of there and put them somewhere else?
I don't think so. And I say that because with my children, like me and their dad, like we take them to the African American museums. You know, they participate in the Black History Month. And not only that, but just teaching them about our culture at home, So yes, being in the suburbs, you may not necessarily get all of the, I'm gonna say this, Black education as you would if you are in the inner city, but yet and still, it's still a matter of what you teach your children at home. So if you're not,
Define black education. Define black education. You say they don't
so
get done.
so what I mean is, and this is what I've observed. I'm going based on my own personal experience and what I have observed. So some of the things that are taking place in some of the inner city schools are not only taking place in the suburban schools. And the example would be, there's more, and I'm gonna use Black History Month as an example. Okay, so you're gonna have more Black History things going on in the inner city than in the suburbs, because in the suburbs it's multicultural, so they are there for everybody and not just one particular race, so to speak, or culture. Okay, so with that being said, I had to make sure that my children were getting the best of both worlds, so to speak. So that meant that whatever it was that I saw that they were not receiving in the school system that they were in, to make sure that I am exposing them to those things outside of that. And I think that helps to cultivate them, and it helps to, of course, broaden their horizons, because again, we live in a world that's so diverse. We have Asian people, we have Latinas, we have Hispanics, we have, the Arabs and Chaldeans, we have Africans, we have such a diverse world which we live in. And I think that for me, it would have been a disservice to just focus on one area and just stay in one location, because the world in which we live in, it's so broad, and there's so much information that's out there, as as my counterpart co-host was saying, in regards to wanting to gain information about the Nation of Islam, the fruit of Islam, and just the different aspects of the Nation of Islam, or the Muslim culture. It's the same with, just in the world. There's so much diversity. What may be tradition for me in my community is not the same as being in the Hindu or Indian community, what I'm saying, or the Native American community. It's different. So why limit my thinking, or limit my children's thinking, to just being in a box, when I can expose them to so much more? Because beyond the sky's limit is what they can have. But if I keep them in a box and keep them just in one area, they won't know.
I agree, sister. It takes somebody with a mind like that to keep your children on the right path, so they won't lose themselves. Because a lot of us go to those type of neighborhoods and we lose who we are because we're trying to be like them. And it takes people like you, to have that foundation to say, look, you have a culture too. Their culture is not better than yours. You have a culture, but it's okay to learn about that culture. So it's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But sometimes we need people to explain, okay, I moved my children out here because what I seen wasn't right for my children. Now, it might be right for yours, but for mine, I had to do the best thing for me and mine. So I commend you for coming on this program. Go ahead. You want to add something, sister?
Just make one. Yes, I wanted to say too that, it was not easy, doing that. The choice was not easy, and I have made a lot of sacrifices by making that choice. It was a choice that I made, and I don't regret the choice that I made. I believe that it was in the best interest of my children, based on, and let me, clarify this too. When I lived in the city of Detroit, I didn't live in a bad neighborhood, but again, just the things that I saw surrounding, I just wanted to, being a single mother and wanting to protect my baby. That's all.
Absolutely. Sometimes our people, we can be so judgmental. We can be so quick to point the finger and say this, that, and the third. But at the same time, I look at I look at their situation and say, well, you might need to come with me. So, how you choose those decisions in your life is based on you and what's best for your family. So I absolutely agree. And I absolutely love the person that you blossom into be, even though I didn't know you in the past, but this person that I know now, I would love to be around and gain knowledge with. Brother Black Gun, we're going to close out the show, brother. I want you to speak your piece to the people, tell the people how they can get in contact with you. I know you got something like a podcast going on. Tell the people how they can get that work from you, man.
Okay, well, I'll close out with saying this to every brother and sister that's watching or listening. Never forget that your children are important. Never forget that the village starts at home. When you build your first hut, when you look at the African villages during the back in the days, them villages were built, and literally you had elders who would literally sit out there. You had the ones that were disciplined, those who would teach them, those who would teach them how to hunt, how to cook, be women, be men. This was our village. This is our history. So this is our culture, and people need to take it to heart. If we bring that back, just imagine how dangerous we would be. Just the part of bringing family back as a whole. Not only families, but our families. It's in Houston, in the United States, of my family, is over 55,000 of us, according to Ancestry.com. You get what I'm saying? And there are 10 of us with the same name. My name is Michael Wayne Scranton Jr. I got 9 other cousins with that same last name, literally. Some are born on the same day as me. So, you got to be able to look at that and take it to hold that your reflection lives. And you got to be able to let that reflection go because your family is that. I know there was a time when love, a Sunday meal, you go to grandmother's house on Sunday, everybody show up, you find out who's doing what in school. You had those in the family that be like, hey, man, I'm good in math. I can help you having problems. There was a time when that actually worked. But these days, everybody's more like, man, I ain't got time for that. That's their child, whether they family or not. So I just do my best to remember that my village is what I build, and my village will be pretty much, man, my story when I pass on. And that's a beautiful thing. And far as finding me, you can find me in there all the time. All you got to do is tune into the Black Love Family page, hit that like button, and you're going to find me here every morning with some encouraging words. You can also find me on Facebook under Michael Scranton, or look up Ghetto Theology. Just as it says, because I feel like I'm a theologist of my life. Everything that I've lived through, I took the time to sit back and study so I can revitalize myself, recreate myself, because I got work to do. Living my life for 22 years in them streets. I ain't going to say as a child growing up, but I say, man, from the age 11 on up. I lived a whole other lifestyle. There's a whole lot of things that I've seen and witnessed that these kids these days are just beginning to witness, be involved in. So I know that it's up to me to be an example, to be the adult in my household and not be a child in my mind state. So my child won't look at me and be like, what's wrong with my daddy? Like, kids look at you like that because kids read past. They can tell when something wrong with you, when something ain't wrong with you. It's all about you letting your kids be there for you. I want my kids to be there for me, as an adult. If I got to cry, I let my kids be there to pat me on my back and tell me, Dad, it's all right. Some of us need to cry. Some of us need that love from our children because that's your DNA. That's your reflection. And never forget that. Don't disrespect your elders. If somebody older than you telling you something, listen, you don't have to literally take their advice, but at least it's in your ear because the village always has been that way. All the villages or elders of the village going to have some information to give you that's going to lead you in the right direction. But, these days you got to look at the elders and how they living now because, just to be honest, it's kind of confusing out here. You don't know if somebody in the church or they looking to, get down with the pastor. When you look at the men in the churches, they coming there for the word of the Lord, or they come there because the sisters that's in the building, and this has got to be mindful because that's supposed to be a part of your village. Church literally means congregation. Christian means to be Christ-like. So you got to look at all those factors when your family, her side of the family, they believe in that. So I got to be able to deal with that as a man and not be big-headed like, well, I studied this and I know this. No matter what I study, no matter what I know, there's 2 sides to that story. There's my side, there's their mother's side. I never step over. If she said they can't have something, I'll be like, well, your mama said you can't have it. In the home, parents got to learn to get together and be together. Okay, if you say you can't have it, I say you can't have it not. Or your mama, she say you can't have it, but go sneak over in the corner and eat. You know, that's really teaching your child to rebel in a sense, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And when you teach them to rebel in that small sense, as they get older, they're going to stop going to mama about certain things and go to daddy because they're going to feel like when I was little, daddy let me do this. You know, I let my son play with toy guns, but only for so long, then I take them and hide. I let him get them because, you know, he like to play with guns. He'd be like, Dad, I want that toy gun. I'd be like, okay, get it. I let him play with it, then he'd be looking for it, you know. But I just, you know, since you want it, I'm going to give it to you, but I'm going to show you how fast it can disappear at the same time because I have control over what you play with at this time in life. You know, it's my duty to keep them off the computer at all times. Read them books. You know, we got this library outside with books in the kids' books. You know, ain't nothing. I discipline them. That's the best discipline. Give a child a book and tell them to read it when they get out of line. And I guarantee you they'll stop doing the things they're doing because them books, they come from small to large real quick. Like I like to start off with a book that got 10 pages. Next book line, I got 20. The next book line, I got 40 pages. I need to read that and tell me what that book said. He'd be like, man, you know, he do this little power. But you know, man, it's all about love in your home, man. Black love is real. It's not going to be perfect, but it's real, man.
Absolutely, absolutely, brother. I want to give Sister the chance to tell people how they can get in contact with you because, you know, and tell everybody, you know, exactly, you know, how you can help them with the whole business thing because we're actually trying to get something done, you know, on that part. So, Sister, tell everybody how they can get in contact with you.
So you all can reach me by email at Nicole@strategic.imageconsultant.com. That is NICOLE at StrategiConsultant.com. And you can also reach me by phone at 248-987-8307. That's 248-987-8307. I have an awesome program for public speaking, personal development, and leadership. And it's something that will definitely change your life. You know, we're never too old to learn. We all need enhancements with our presentation skills, how we present ourselves to the public. And my motto is to make your first impression a lasting impression. And if you can do that and hold on to that, then you're really going places. And keep in mind too that you are your brand. You know, when people see you, you know, that we shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but when we speak and when people see us, that is the impression that they have. And of course, that's a lasting impression. So you can reach me via email or phone. So I thank you all.
Thank you, Sister, for being on here, man. The topic was great tonight. Both of y'all put out some great information. I learned a lot too. So I'm gonna go ahead and let Brother Mike come on back in and close us on out.
Thank you, family. And when I say thank you, family, I want to first and foremost thank our guests who were very courageous to come on and to put their thinking on display for our people. Some of our people could be judgmental and some of our people could be supportive, but I want to thank you all because you've been most supportive with our panel and our guests. I want you to get familiar with our sister, Sister Nicole Blackman. She's a new addition to the Black Love family. Her and Bruce Muhammad, starting this Monday, 6 p.m. Central Time, they will be going live on a broadcast called Make Money Make Sense Mondays. Again, Make Money Make Sense Mondays. They're going to be given a financial literacy course every Monday. And they're going to start from the letter A, from the very elementary term, and we're going to walk you right up to the collegiate PhD terms. So Brother Bruce Muhammad and Sister Nicole. Brother Black Gun is one of the admins for the for the Black Love Family Group page. It's actually a group, so don't look for it in the pages. Go to the group, Black Love Family group. I'm sorry, Black Love Family page group, as well as our brother DeAndre Rob Gillespie. So, family, I want you to take a second, and I want to thank you for all of your beautiful insight. Sister Jesus, how are you? Keith Price, Alderman Keith Price, how are you? Look, family, we have to remember this. We lost Black Gun, but he'll probably pop back on. We have to remember this, family. When we're in the womb of our mothers, before we know any deity or any entity of God, the first entity that we look for as far as resources and we lean to and we submit to is mother. Is mother. Mother, once you come out the womb, she provides you the milk of her breast, the love of her. And in that, family, we become gods to our children before they can even speak the language of God. Before we can even interpret our definition of faith, we become the gods of our children. Mother first, then father. Because after he or she are done suckling on mother, they want dada. Let me hold dada. So we become the entities that they look up to, they pay reverence to, they submit to. They submit to our authority. They submit to us for substances. And in that, family, we got to be careful how we carry that power. See, in the womb, the scripture says, train the child in the way he should go. So if you're a praying person, you're transmitting all your prayers into that womb. But they know no other substance or no other deity but you. So now you introduce them to the community. How do you do that? You have a relationship with the community. So back when we were younger, everybody wanted to hold your baby. Everybody celebrated a new birth. And everybody came together in preparation for the new birth, whether it be a baby shower or what have you. You celebrated that birth before it even came into existence. You knew that child when it was in the womb. We've gotten away from that. As a community, we got away from that. One, we're too busy working. Now, the scripture says, and the prophet James Brown says, he said, you don't work, you don't eat. So we understand the principle of feeding and providing for our family. But are we so engulfed in working that we're not working on our communities? Are we not working on our children? The TV, is the Xbox, is the PlayStation, is the daycares raising our children? And by the time we're done working, we don't have no energy to put in the work for the family dynamic. You're tired. Go to sleep. Get up and do the same repetition cycles every day till you and your children become strangers. So when somebody come and report and say, my children did this, you say, no, you didn't. How do you know? That's a stranger now. We have to get back into investing time, first and foremost, to ourselves, our community, and our children. Because when you know your community, you will know Mr. Brown is not about to discipline your child for no particular reason. He was there from the womb. He and his wife, or if they even broke up, he's still an uncle. So when our children know that there's no discipline structure outside of my home, well, I ain't gonna cuss in front of mama, I ain't gonna cuss in front of daddy. But Mr. Brown, Mrs. Green, fuck them. But they can't, because if they whoop me, my mama gonna be up in their face. Did you hit my child? Did you hit my child? And they feed off into this bull crap because they know that there's no exterior reinforcement in the community. So we have to build our community, I thank God for my mother. And when you build that community, I'm gonna share this with you real quick. I thank God for my mother, even though I couldn't stand her when I was growing up, because I was young and immature. I didn't understand her discipline. I thought it was punishment. But she had a skill set that no one else knew. I come up in the Cabrini. I raised in Cabrini. Just check this out. Check out the psychology of this. Raised in Cabrini. We never came out the neighborhood. My mother went from out of the projects into another establishment that's correct to the town and guard that was connected right to Cabrini. Then they erected some new buildings. Same neighborhood. New buildings, same mentality all around. See? But my mother was the parent that, one, she exposed me to every religion but Islam, because she knew nothing about it. She exposed me to every religion. So I have been, the 7th day of Adventists, we was going to their faith. She exposed me to Jehovah's Witness. We was going to the Baptist church. She was working in the hospital, and she got friends with some Korean, and I forgot what the name of it, but she exposed us to it all. But that was my mother being diverse, because she wanted us to have a little diversity, even though where we were from. So she was the parent that, because everybody else watched us during the day while she worked, when she was off, she grabbed everybody's children. We're going skating. We're going downtown to the museum. It's an army of us. And all these children, non-blood related, was my cousins. We were family. Their mamas was my aunties. Their daddies was my uncles. See? And the sense of community was so much, even though the relationships may not have worked, the men were there to protect the community. You're not going to bring no harm to our community, whether it be a foreigner outside our community, whether it be the police. These was the type of spiritual men that was ready to die for the babies. So I grew up in the era where, whether we made it or not, that's still my baby. My father and my mother, new husband, sat down and chopped it up, drank beer together. There wasn't no pettiness between them. And the same thing with my mother when my father moved on and got married. She chopped it up. She hung out with my father's wife. It was no petty, because they understood the community and village concept. We are so isolated that we're so easily offended. Well, I ain't going to bring another sister around my man, because she going to want to screw my man. Girl, and you get somebody foolish enough to back that up. Girl, no, you don't bring him around your man. And then the same thing. Now, do we have devious people in our community? Absolutely. But we make judgment prior to even vetting someone. We make judgment. Look, family, my best friend, my mother didn't know this. And it was in the community because the young lady who my best friend was raising, she was ashamed. I learned Islam through my best friend as I started to get older, because I always asked him, well, brother, we eating pizza in school. Why you not eating pizza? It got pork on it. But why you don't eat pork? I didn't ask these questions until I came older. And at that time in the community, I guess she was a little bit shameful to say she was from the Muslim community. But her sons taught me and introduced me to that. So it gave me a diverse way of looking at it. So, Sister Nicole, I understand, sister. Look, I stay in an all-black community. However, in my reasoning of staying in my community, I'm not going to stay in a community that's going to be riddled with gunfire. That's not responsible for me as a parent. It's not. However, the community that I stay in, Queen, the community that I stay in, we know each other. I'm in a condo complex. We all are condo owners. We own our property. So we take care of our property. We speak to each other's name. That's one of the things that we got to get in our mind. When you own something, there's a difference of how you appreciate and value it, because you're looking at your property value. You're looking at certain things. Now you got a community of ownership. Now you all going to come together and say, how are we going to protect our investment? How are we going to increase our investment? And that on the secular level, as far as material, that becomes a thing where you say our children are our biggest investment. So now my tax dollar pay your school system. No, school board. This is the curriculum that we want you to teach. And we have power in our tax dollar. But when we so isolated, we go to work like robots, we come home. We pick up our children from daycare, we don't know our neighbors, blah. We don't have no power. And then you want to go to city council meeting by yourself and raise all type of, why we ain't doing this? Your little bitty voice don't hear nothing. But as a community, it speaks volumes. See what I'm saying? And for our brothers, come on, man. Look, you laid with the sister. It was good during the time. You loved her when you was in her. Hey, baby, I love you. You loved her before you got her. Love what you produce after. Even if you can't make it happen, say, you know what? I don't have time for petty differences with adult foolishness. I produced this child. And I'm going to be around for this child. And I'm not just going to be like me initially when I became a father. All I did was the provider part. I didn't understand the value of time because that's how I was taught. I was repeating a cycle until a sister sat me down and said, remember when your daddy, even though he was providing, you remember your daddy would have you sitting in the window crying, waiting for him to come? You doing the same thing to your children. And it was an epiphany moment for me. So I had to learn the value of going to my son's games, I don't care about no cheerleading, but I care about supporting my daughter while she's cheerleading. You know what I'm saying? And I can't pick the sport based upon how I like it or not, but guess what? I became my mother because all the children could come spend the night with me. But guess what? Before they come spend the night with me, don't distract me. Before they come spend the night with me, I'm getting to know their parents. There's a relationship that's already created. If we all go skating, I'm kicking it with the parents to see what type of mentality is around my children because I don't have to go to the children. I can just go straight to the parents. I can vet the parents and tell you what type of child that is. So we got to get back into getting together. A couple weeks I posed this and nobody bit. I said this, and this was a challenge for us to get to know each other. Since social media is the new outlet for us to get together, and it's a beautiful thing if used properly. Take the time. We all friend people. Some people we just friend them because we got mutual friends or whatever. Take the time that somebody's been on your post, that's been liking your stuff, and you've been liking their stuff, but you never met in person. Inbox them. Call them, preferably same gender. But if you do this opposite gender, whatever. Get to know them. Ask them a question. Now you're creating a real social media where you're being really sociable and not a virtual social people. And this is how we connect the dots. And this is how we produce the change in our community. So yes, we can move outside, and Raw, he hit it right on the point. Everybody in our community, not everybody, bad choice of language. There are people in our community that move to affluent communities, but the people from the affluent communities don't move to our communities. Why? Because we haven't learned to love ourselves. We haven't learned to protect ourselves, and sense of unity in the community is dissipating because now we're bickering. Look, on Black Love Family page, you can be from the Kemetic community. You can post everything about the Kemetic community. I'm going to like it. Guess what? This one brother posted something that was very beautiful the other day. And it opened up my mind. And I love to learn. I think his name was Jamar. But he posted a live video, where he broke down in elementary form the Kemetic community. I'm like, wow. Things I didn't know. I'm not ashamed to say I didn't know. My Christian family, they come on Black Love Family page and they post, they pass this and this and that. Guess what? I don't just like it. I take the time to listen, to add on to me. So my family, I'm Muslim. So you know I'm going to post the minister. I'm going to post the ministers from the nation. Guess what? I'm listening. As a new student, even though I may know, But this brings about the diversity in our community. We quick to be diverse with somebody else. There's diversity in our community, and we can't let our diversity in our community, well, son, I don't want you to go over there because them people believe in Jesus and we don't believe in Jesus. Well, them people believe in Muhammad. I don't want you going over there. Them people believe in Muhammad. They speaking when they talk Muhammad. You know, them people over there, ISIS, brother. No. But we'll go outside our community and kick it with the Arab. We'll go right outside our community and kick it with the archbishop, the cardinal. We sick as hell. Sick. We got the diversity amongst our community, but more importantly, we got the talent in our community, and we got the love in our community. Sisters, your sister's going to step on your toes. Brother, your brother's going to step on your toes. So what? People have stepped on our toes when they cut our women's womb open and crushed the baby by the heels, and we forgiving of them. We the last person we forgive. Come to your brother and sister and settle your disagreements. Brother, you're going to have a disagreement with your brother. Bring it to your brother and not another. Bring it to your brother and not another. But here it is, you go to work and your Caucasian boss emasculates you daily. Come here, boy. Have a seat. And yes, master, because I'm going to get paid my 40 hours a week. I'm going to pay me. Yeah. Just shut up and sit still. Treat you like a dog in the field. But your brother stepped on your shoes and he's your lifelong enemy. I ain't got time for that. Look, me and Ron, y'all think this connection is just magical? Hell no. We got two strong personalities. We bump heads. But we know how to bump heads in the most respectful way, that we going to hear each other. And that's strengthening our, if we both agree to each other, we have a phony, fake relationship. But how we disagree and settle our disagreement is strengthen our brotherhood. So we ain't gonna agree on everything. I don't like purple shirts. The man wearing a purple shirt tonight. You know what I'm saying? He's disrespectful to me. So family, what I'm trying to tell you all is this. We got to get back to strengthening our community. This is what the Black Love Family page is about. We're going to present to you all type of programs. Sister Super Saturdays is when our sisters are bonding together and showing the beauty of sisterhood. And they're going to tell you, brothers, what we're missing from you. But they got to show the strength of sisterhood first. Then we got Talk About It, Brother to Brother Talk Tuesdays with our brother Amar. Super Sister Saturdays is hosted by Sister Rashida, Sister Lakeisha, Sister Lisa, Sister Tarshawn. We got a host of beautiful sisters with beautiful talents, and a lot of them are from the group. And they're making connections where they only were Facebook friends. And guess what? This is humble. God will use you and your talents if you let him. I can't exalt myself, so don't think that I am. Half of them didn't know each other until I introduced them to each other because they were my friends. And they had virtual relationships, and now these sisters are calling each other every day, checking each other posts. What's going on with you and your children? Blah, blah, blah. When we going to meet up? This and that. Sharing recipes, simple things. You ain't got to go ahead and construct Rome. Just start learning how to make bricks. And the construction of the actual city will come later. Simplicity. Black Gun, I ain't never met Black Gun. Me and Black Gun been, he been down and doing the ghetto theology in Texas for the last 3 years. That's how long I known him. I ain't never met him. But when he come on, I'm listening. Why? Because he finna keep it real Texas style. Black Gun don't give a damn what you think or whatever. And as I'm speaking, my baby could be all up in this. Hold on. This is my baby. Later for y'all. Wait a minute. You all right, baby? Okay, I'm back at you. But that's real. That's him. And I love him for being him. He loves being a father. He loves being a male and a role model. And he's in love with that. And it resonates in his being. I'm sorry, Sister Nicole. You know, I know you grammar police. If I'm slicing up some verbs and I ain't got subject verb agreement, forgive me, please. But you know, I'm just saying to you all, family, this parenthood. Before we become good parents, we got to become good children, and we can't think because we're in our 40s that we're not children. We're children of the universe. Submit to that. We're children of a higher power. And when our children see that we can submit to something that's greater than us, they'll have longevity in their submission to us. So you can't give them the law and they don't find you in line with the law. Hey, do good and your ass is wrong as hell. Hey, don't commit adultery, but they see you with the neighbor's wife. We got to be the example on what we see. And we're not perfect. Don't beat yourself up. But once you know that you got a character flaw, start working on it. And it'll dissipate. But if you just submit to that, this is who I am, and people want to accept me, then you wrong as hell, and people want to accept your children the way you are. And when you go into the penitentiary and put some money on the books, thank you, not them, because you submitted to wrong and you passed wrong on to your children. Let's change that dynamic and submit to right. Whatever way right was introduced to you. So now I can go into my Kemetic community and I learned doo-wah. See? I didn't know what that meant. And I was too ashamed for last year's everybody saying doo-wah. What that mean? I ain't asked. I was too ashamed. See? These are the things by just paying attention and learning and submitting to something that's greater than you. It adds to you. I didn't know what, man, these people got all these nines going on. I'm like, man, these people love the number 9. What's going on with that? But yesterday, I learned what it meant. So I say to you all, family, this is our page. I didn't construct a page of myself. You all said, let's get a page together. I just went to work and put it together for us. If God should call me home tomorrow, this page should continue because it's for us. It ain't about one person. Just like our community. If our sister can't pick up her baby from school, her sister in the community say, I got the babies. Now look at how us being disunited costing us money. Now you paying $250, $300 a week for child care when you got your sister at home, not working, in your community. Hey, I'm going to give you $50 a week. And if you got 10 people giving up $50 a week, that's $500 going to that sister house. It's saving you money and your baby's right in the community. But now, I'm going to take it to somebody who's certified. They certified crazy. Because the certified people are driving they don't care what they feeding your babies. If you take a gander on your phone and look at the nanny cam, they whooping, beating your kids. There's no real connection but $1. So may God continue to bless us. I ask my guests to stay on, family. Black Gun, you absolutely picked a beautiful topic. Next week, we're going to come to you all with another topic. And I thank you, brother. I thank you, sister, for pointing out. Let's get back to our community because not only is it costing us financially, it's costing our children lives. They're dying, and we're burying our children, and our children are not burying us. Hey, that stuff in Florida, you don't think if his parents had a post on their child, they knew what type of child they were to prevent that? They knew that, okay, my son is not stable enough for me to have a weapon in my home. If I do have a weapon in the home, he must know nothing about it. But they didn't have a post on that child. Society was raising that child, and guess what? Whether we like it or not, society hurt that child. Society hurt that young man. So what you seen was retaliatory hurt. Y'all mocked me. Y'all called me crazy. Guess what? I didn't have no parents in my home to coddle me, to get me the counseling, or blah, 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 because they was too busy doing what they was doing, working, calling themselves being adults. And you ain't raising your child. It didn't start overnight. He didn't wake up one night with an epiphany, I'm finna go to this school. This was years and years of things adding on. But if we have a post on our community, we'll know that. Y'all knew we knew who the fast girls, because our mama told her, baby, stay away from that girl. That's a fast girl. How she know that? Because her mama was fast. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't look at it like that. You looked at it, that's mama, that's my friend. And I know certain things about her, and you begin to bridge that gap between mama and that misconception out there. No, she my friend. I hang out with her. And at school, I didn't have a quarter to eat for lunch, and she gave me a quarter. She did. Oh, I'm going to stop calling that baby fast. Maybe she is some good. Bridge the gaps. Start communicating. Start to get to know each other. So may God continue to bless us. Our next broadcast is Super Sister Saturday, this Saturday. Join Lakeisha Smith Muhammad, Rashida Shabazz, a couple other sisters, Tammy Buckley, and this Monday. I want y'all to get y'all pens and paper ready. The brother Bruce is so sharp financially. So is our sister. And they're going to walk us from the Genesis to the revelation of finance. So may God continue to bless us and tune in to Brother to Brother Talk Tuesdays with Amar and Brother DeAndre. We're doing some not individual. We're doing some absolute great things on Black Love Family Group. And, from that, it spawns off into other things than what you want to do. So post your businesses, post Black-owned business or what have you. Hey, I don't care about what Saks and Fifth Avenue is doing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, I want to support the brothers who's selling socks on Fifth Avenue, right at the light. Here, this is going into your economy, brother. You know what I'm saying? I don't wear them size socks. Give me them ankle pieces right there, brother. Thank you. You got towels? You got towels? I ain't got to go to Walmart. Lend me them towels, brother. This is going into your household? Yes, sir. May God continue to bless us. I ask my guests to stay on. Love you all. I really do with the bottom of my heart. Happy Black Love Thursdays.